Now live from the Window World Studios, this is The McGraw Show on the Big 550 and KTRS.com.
Hey, it's 821, Big 550 KTRS. Dan Paris back behind the microphone here at the Big 550 KTRS. Dan, welcome back.
Hey, thanks for having me.
We know you from the director and the creator of the documentary film Give a Damn, which you and your buddies went over to Africa. You were in a plane accident, and you almost died. You were sick. You came back. We followed the whole story. Give a Damn's been going great, guns, and you got a phone call?
Yeah, our film premiered at the Tivoli, and like 400-something people came out, and it was a great experience. And
jam-packed.
I'd shared there that I wanted to continue making films that make a difference. And then a couple weeks later, I got an email from Sarah about this documentary.
And so, Sarah Bernard, you called up Dan and said what?
I told him that I had a story idea for a documentary in Nicaragua, and it seemed like something that might be right up his alley, and wanted to know if he'd like to at least sit down and talk about it and perhaps get involved.
Okay, so you were on a trip to Nicaragua, and what happened?
I was in Nicaragua. I've been several times, and last summer, with my colleague Barbara Madison, we met a gentleman who was formerly a hitman for the Sandinista Army, and long story, was a drug.
Just out of curiosity, did he buy you a beer? How did you meet this former hitman with the Sandinistas?
Didn't just run into him in the street, but we actually had heard about him. Barb had met him on a prior trip, and she said, Sarah, you got to meet this guy. He's got an amazing life story. So we had 2 days left, and we tracked him down, which is not really easy to do in Nicaragua, to track somebody down. Limited Wi-Fi.
Don't just go on Facebook?
You don't just go on. Well, actually, there's a lot of people there on Facebook, believe it or not. But we found him. We had got a chance to go talk to him, meet him, and this guy was a drug smuggler. He was a hitman. He lived a life of violence. Grew up in a very violent home. Saw his brother doused with gasoline and burned to death in front of him at age 13. He was age 13. Oscar, our central character, and had a life that we can't even imagine. We can't even imagine. But one day, 10 years ago or so, he said, I'm changing my life. I'm turning myself around. And he completely turned his life around in a way that we could never do in this country without a lot of therapy and a lot of dollars.
Right.
And he is now rescuing children and women out of sexual slavery. And he's a very humble guy living in a very humble situation. But he is changing lives like he changed his own. It's really an amazing
And so
story.
you said this has to be a movie. This has to be a story.
Yeah, Barb thought, this could be a great book. And I said, it would be a great film. And so we met with him and came back, started talking about it, kicking it around, met with Dan. We've been working on the concept ever since, getting some funds together. We're still fundraising. We hooked up with the Regional Arts Commission here in St. Louis as our fiscal sponsor, and we're going down.
So you're now leaving to go to Nicaragua to film this documentary?
Yeah, in a few weeks, hopefully.
And do you have, outside, do you have any other film, any other footage? This is going to be, you don't have any news stories to go on. This is, how are you going to do this?
Yeah, we're basically starting from scratch. We do have many people in Oscar's life, his mother, some of his siblings, some of his childhood friends who were there with him during his early years of violence and terror. We have people that he's working with today. We have access to all of those people. We're going to be interviewing them. We're going to be studying human trafficking and filming that situation in Nicaragua. So we're doing a lot of our pre-production planning right now. So when we go down this spring, we'll be able to get started. We'll be taking several trips down.
Human trafficking and sex trafficking is a dirty little secret that nobody likes to talk about.
Not so much of a secret anymore.
Well, but people don't like to talk about it in polite company, and it is devastating, and it is a tragedy, and it's happening right here in America too.
It is happening everywhere, and down there, I saw 8, 9-year-old girls who were pulled out of those situations. It's shocking. It's amazing. It's something that we have a really hard time understanding.
How much access is he going to give you? Are you going to be...
We have some access. We're going to have as much as we can possibly get. There's some things that we cannot shoot. Obviously, there's little children that we won't be able to shoot, but there will be some that we can interview, and we'll do as much as we possibly can to tell the story. It's a great story.
How much are you working with the State Department at all on this?
Well, we have some access to the proper security measures. Let's put it that way.
Right.
So.
All right. Well, how can we help? Is there anything we can do to help?
Well, what we'd like to do is make sure that people know how to find out more about the film. And so if you could help us spread that word, we have a website.
Okay, my 3 listeners are ready to go. What do you got?
Yeah, it's www.hitmantohero.com.
Hitmantohero.com.
And we are also on Facebook. I know you've been talking about Facebook this morning. Let's hope it doesn't implode before our film is done. But we're on Facebook, Hitman to Hero. You can find us there to get more information.
Hitmantohero.com and Hitman to Hero fan page on Facebook. Dan, take me through your head. How are you going to do this film? What are you thinking about?
Well, with this kind of thing, it's not like he's doing this right now, so it's going to be hard to kind of go into that biographical period. So we're going to interview family, friends, people he used to work with, anybody we can kind of get connected to build his backstory. Obviously, an interview with him, a really good, solid interview, is going to be key to the film. Getting a lot of B-roll. And I think one thing about documentaries is that you always start with one idea and then something else happens. My film,
sure.
For example. So I'm going to you kind of got to be on your feet. You got to see, where is this story happening? What is going on here that's below the surface? It's going to be the thing that really draws people's hearts in. So I think that first trip is really going to be just kind of having my eyes open and working with the team to where are we going to focus? Where's our story?
Is your plan to go down and film it all on one trip, or are you making numerous trips, or what's the plan there?
We're going to be making several trips. So we're starting this spring. We have a couple trips planned, and then we'll go back again in the summer and fall if we need additional trips. We also have some people here in the U.S. that we'll be talking to and shooting here.
And Oscar is all for telling his story.
Oscar's all for telling a story. He tells his story a lot just publicly, but he's a really, he's a laid back, humble guy. He's not a big, over the top kind of personality.
Right.
So that's our job to make sure that we bring out the best we can of Oscar on camera. But he is willing and wants to tell his story in that he believes it will help other people to change their lives as well.
What was the thing that sort of set him on the right path? Did he have a near-death experience, or
what set him on this path, believe it or not, is he heard testimony by prostitutes who were trying to change their lives, and he heard them talk about the violence and abuse that they had suffered in their lives, and he realized how similar his life was. He wasn't a prostitute, didn't have prostitution in his life in any way, yet he saw how his upbringing also contributed to the things that contributed to the path they were on. So he felt a similarity to them and thought, I can learn from them. They can learn from me. Let's work together. So that's what he's doing now, and that was sort of the turning point for him.
And when do we expect to have this documentary finished, completed, and in the can?
Okay, well, let's say a year. Okay. About a year. I know Dan's film took more than that. But
right. Well, he was in the hospital and in a plane crash.
Right. Let's hope for the best so we can get it done in about a year. That's our plan.
All right, so next January, you're going to come by talking about the world premiere, right?
That's exactly right. Yes.
All right,
yes, sir.
And you'll give us updates throughout how things are going?
We would love to give you updates.
Keep him off planes, okay, right? Cars only. And we only ask one thing here.
Okay.
All right? And so we have to agree to this. We'll give you as much press as you need anytime you want to come on. But when you receive the Oscar, right?
You're invited, right?
No. I just want you to mention, as part of the thank yous, just mention KTRS and McGraw for helping make this dream come true.
We can absolutely make that promise.
Wow, you got contracts already lined up there.
I didn't know that was...
That is such a deal.
Right?
You got it.
So when you guys win Best Documentary, all you do is just thank me in the process.
We will promise you that.
You got it. See that? It's as simple as that. Stay off planes. Be safe. Be careful.
Yes, sir.
Take care of him.
We're putting him on a boat. He leaves tomorrow.
Sarah Bernard is with us along with Dan Paris, St. Louisans, who are going down to tell an amazing story. Best of luck, guys, and we do look forward to hearing from you throughout the year.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
You got it. And the website, again, is hitmantohero.com.
That's exactly right.
Hitmantohero.com. 8:30 on KTRS.